Hello, I'm Ladislav Smola. I'm a Reddit engineer and I will show you how to deploy OpenStack using Instack. The main difference from the previous video will be deploying of the storage roles and some advanced UI features. So let's proceed with the list of steps of Instack. I've already done the first 4 steps, so let's run virt setup. This will create virtual machines for us, virtual machines for the overcloud and also for the undercloud. So let's just increase the number of the overcloud nodes. This is the maximum I can deploy on the current bare metal. And let's run the virt setup. This will take few minutes, so we'll just skip to the end. Seems like undercloud is ready on this IP address. So let's proceed with other steps. Step 6, SSH into them. Step 7, download the images. I have the images already, so let's just rsync them. This is the IP address of the undercloud. So let's rsync the images and SSH into the undercloud. Rsync is still running, so let's wait a few more seconds. Seems like rsync is done. Let's check it. Yes, we have the images here, so we can proceed with the next steps. Let's clone the Instack undercloud repository. Before we will proceed with installing Instack, let's just first set Instack answers. We want to change a deployment mode. The POC is proof of concept that doesn't do hardware matching. So we will put there scale. This will turn on support of flavors, so you will have to associate flavor to each deployment role, and this role will be then deployed only to the nodes that matches the flavor exactly. So let's set this and proceed with the next steps, which is sourcing the Instack RC and installing the undercloud. Okay, this will take a couple of minutes, so let's just skip right to the end. Okay, Instack has been successfully installed. Now let's do the last step, which is copying the passwords on Stack RC. Let's source Stack RC. Seems like it is working. Okay, so before we will be able to connect to the UI, we need to create SSH tunnel. So let's do that. This is the IP address of the undercloud, and this is the web machine. So let's create the SSH tunnel, and on port 8051 on localhost we should have our Taskar UI, and it's working. So let's just sign in. The user will be admin, and the password is instackrc in the undercloud. Okay, so first thing we need to do is register some nodes. Let's do that. We will use upload nodes functionality. I have already prepared the nodes CSV file. So let's just check what's in there. I've used this script to generate it. The node CSV contains driver, IP address, credentials for the driver, and MAC address. So let's upload the nodes. This is new UI feature, the preview of what we will be uploading. So you can see it's checked that it will discover the missing attributes, so we don't have to specify all the specs. Okay, let's do that. And it's discovering 6 nodes for us now. Okay, this will take some time, so let's just skip a bit forward. Okay, it has discovered 5 nodes. We can activate them either one by one, or we can use operation for multiple rows. Good, we have 5 registered nodes that are ready for deploy. Before we proceed to deployment, we have to also set the service configuration. So the service configuration is now divided into tabs, 1 tab for each role and some global parameters too. So we can now set only the most important ones. It's defaulted to bare metal deployment. We need to change it for virtualized. SNMP password, we can find it at cclometer. So under hardware there is read-only user password. We can keep cloud name as overcloud. ISC as a helper, we need to use this because this is deprecated from Fedora 17 and RHEL 7. Enter NTP server can be blank, it will use the public ones, and extra config can be blank too. Good, service configuration is done, and we can just verify we have correct flavors set. So Instack is creating a correct default flavor for us. So it's a bare metal flavor, and that flavor is set to each role. As well as the correct default images for each row. So for each row we have flavor and image. So that means that this row can be deployed only to the ironic nodes that will match this flavor. Okay, so everything is set now. We can proceed to the deployment. We can try deployment with 2 computes. It's total 5 nodes we have prepared. And let's deploy. There is a little CSS bug on the deploy button. Okay, it says it lists the passwords and certificates that will be auto-generated for us. So we are ready to deploy. And it's deploying. So this will again take some time, so we can skip a little bit forward. And overcloud is deployed. It took about 20 minutes. Now we need to initialize the overcloud. This will create admin user. It will set up the correct keystone endpoints, and it will initialize Neutron. So we will just change this allocation pool. The defaults are for bare metal deployment. And we are ready to go. And that's it. The overcloud is initialized. You can use these credentials to log in. Before we will test the overcloud, let's just check if monitoring is working. So let's check, for example, compute role. We have two nodes there. And we can see we have already few samples. These are aggregated statistics for 2 instances, so it is working correctly. The list of them is here. Okay, so we are ready to log into the overcloud and test if everything works. Now, to be able to connect to this IP address, we will need to create 2 SSH tunnels. Details for that are in the previous video. I have already done that. There are still some CSS issues because we don't have all the Horizon patches. We need to backport some into Juno. Okay, so the SSH tunnels are done. And the overcloud is available on this address, so let's connect there. Now we can check the hypervisors, and we have the 2 of them we have registered. These are the 2 compute nodes. Okay, so let's upload some image. upload just basic cirrus image, and that should be it. And it's done. It was quick. Now we can deploy some compute instance using that image. And let's put their default network. Okay, let's launch the image. This will take some time, so we can skip to the end. And the instance is deployed. You can try to create some volume. Let's create just empty volume. Let's say 3 gigs. And it's done. Now let's try to attach the volume to the instance we have created. And it is attached to the test instance. Good. So last thing is trying if Swift is working. Let's create a container first, and let's upload something in there, for example our cirrus image. And it is all working. It's great. We have fully functional our cloud. Okay, thank you for your attention.